Well, greetings, Mr. Colazar's forensic science class. We're going to be looking to counterfeiting today and kind of finish up our chapter. Now, counterfeiting, make sure we write this down is the production of an imitation for purpose of deception. So, what is going to be produced? Currency, checks or traveler's checks, food stamps, certain kinds of bonds are kind of like a lot of money, stock options, and postage stamps. Those are a few, but definitely the number one counterfeiting one is currency. This goes back to the beginning of time of anybody trying to find the easy way to make some money by faking that. Now, counterfeit currency, the Secret Service is in charge of handling cases involving counterfeit money, whether it's electronic or whether it's paper. They go through a lot of different things now that we're going to see in class of ways they can make it so that we're hard or difficult security features embedded in to make forgery of money much more difficult now than it used to be. Now, first security feature that people notice isn't what anything that looks like, but how the paper actually feels. And that's the number one way that people actually figure out if money's fake or not, or that sets them off to wondering if it's fake or not, is that feel. Regular printer paper contains starch. Paper bills contain rag fiber instead of starch. And one thing we're going to look at is the iodine marking pen will change different colors depending on if it's paper or if it's a rag fiber. So the paper versus rag fiber has a different chemical reaction with that iodine marking pen that you occasionally see or work with. Now to identify authentic currency, there's many different things like you could see inside here. There's a strip or a band that actually has information about the bill in there, and there's many other unique coding features. The portrait stands out, appears to be lifted off the paper. It's very hard for it to be photocopied. There's red and blue fibers woven throughout the bill. There's clear, distinctive border edges. The treasury seal is shown with a clear, sharp sawtooth print points. Watermarks appear, which when you lift up to light, you can actually see through and see a portrait in there. The security thread is evident. It's embedded that vertical strip here. Let's see here. Minute pictures, the security threads around the portrait. The bill is tilted. The numbers in the lower right-hand corner make a color shift from copper to green. So there's lots of different things that they go through nowadays to help prevent counterfeiting of money. One of the things that we've looked at and are going to look at in lab is the use of the ink and how we can look at ink, because even though it's the same color, ink can be separated by what's called chromatography. Now, chromatography is going to be physically separating the components of ink. And what we're going to look at is, even though ink might be like one color, like green, it's actually made of yellow and blue pigments. And we can go through and physically separate the ink into many different colors and any of the pigments that it's actually made out of to identify what type of ink and where it might have actually come from. So paper chromatography, each manufacturer has different ink components, and so even though it might look like the same color, the two companies might have a variety of different mixtures in order to get the colors of ink that they do. Continuing with our handwriting to wrap up our chapter, evidence in the courtroom, handwriting is still likely to be cross-examined. It's a helpful tool, but it's definitely not the sole basis for information from expert sides, either the defense or the attorney side. One of the other things we're going to look into related fields, historical dating an object when it actually to verify the age of it, fraud investigation, looking at the money trail, looking at what the criminal intent was, paper and ink specialists, going to date and type the ink that was actually used, the source where it came from, forgery specialists, looking at altered or obliterated change documents to see if they're real or fake, Typewriting analysis. Typewriters aren't used much anymore, but computer crime investigations investigate cybercrime and the use of materials are all going to be seen are related fields in this area of forgery and documentation. Internet crimes have become kind of the future in cyber terrorism. Department of Justice looks at the using a computer as the target, attacking other computers, using a computer as a weapon, using a computer to commit traditional crimes, or using a computer as an accessory. So kind of as a fancy file cabinet for storing illegal information. So computer intrusion, identity theft, transmission of illegal items, extortion and harassment, piracy, cyber terrorism, bullying would be included in this list, are all areas that the field of forensics is really looking into to kind of prevent these. Internet crimes, intrusion, identity theft, illegal items, extortion, piracy, bullying, cyber terrorism are all areas that the wave of forensic science is looking to continue to work in. Just a quick summary. Handwriting analysis compares questionable documents with exemplars. Remember, exemplars are known to be true. So you're comparing to see if the question one to the real one. Aspects of personal handwriting style can be analyzed to accomplish that. Many new features in paper currency help to prevent counterfeiting, and technological advances engage in detecting forged documents. And that will wrap up our Chapter 10 on documentation.